So yes, so about today's work. Here it is, March the 18th. Um, there is a compressed folder to download, which I've given a link to here. And what that is that's a solution to a lab that we discussed in class before the test. Now, the important features of that lab are that it includes a form, and the form, um, I could show you that. The form, so I need to go to my, downloads, and because I downloaded this today, you're going to see something like this. There's a form, and some of the things there should be familiar to you. You know, we've got these ordinary input fields. This is an input field which takes text. This one is an input field. When you look at this, at the HTML for this, you'll see that this field is a special type of data, and that type of data is a password type data. Now, what happens when you try and enter something in the field which is going to accept password data is it doesn't echo it back onto the screen. So the data is going in, but it's not being echoed onto the screen. Of course, you have seen that as you've visited websites, no doubt. And if you ever wondered how they did that, well, there's so many nice things built into our HTML nowadays, HTML5. A lot of this stuff sort of happens without much input from us. We can just sort of say pass, and it does a password field for us. We can do things like say date, and it gives us a calendar that we pull down a date from. And I think we saw that in the last exercise. Now the rest of what you're seeing here, and again, this is the answer to Lab 9, right? This is the answer to Lab 9. And so what you're seeing, the rest of that is, hopefully this is familiar, is we've got these elements which are bordered by a dashed line, just like we did with the product list. But inside it, as well as having the image, we have a checkbox, which is part of it. So all of this is part of the form. All of this is part of the form. Now, the other thing we see, which is kind of tricky here, is we've got this. Look at that. Isn't that cool, right? So when we move our cursor to a particular part, then different things start happening. And that is achieved with a hover, H-O, like a helicopter, a hover, H-O-V-E, right? So yeah, these are just some images that you're going to use to build that form. So the hover, let's have a look at it. The hover is achieved in the well, I actually I don't know if it's in here. I think you have to make it. Yeah, so it would, yeah, we'd have to look at the style sheet to see how that was done there. But the hover is achieved in a way that I'm going to show you the other thing that I've uploaded on D2L. So I think that's the easier way of showing that. So let me go back to D2L. And I have uploaded for you, or have I not? Finish upload to Dropbox. Maybe I haven't. Oh, that's not good. So let me see. Yeah, my apologies. Because I have two classes today, I haven't actually uploaded this. So I'm going to upload it for you. I have, and I hope I can find it. It's probably, yeah, it's in my Dropbox. And so we've got this drop down list. And so we're just going to, I'm uploading that for you now so that you can get it. It should be there for you. Now, my apologies. So you do need that, or, well, I don't know if you need it, but it may help you, which is this, oh, sorry, wrong one. Already got that one. Too much of a hurry. Didn't I just put it there? There it is. Oh, did it not upload? Was I in too much of a hurry? Oh yeah. So my apologies. I know what I did. I didn't complete the sorry about that. That's what you get for being in too much of a hurry. I think this kind of I'm going to pause the I am now. So this is the hover. The idea of a hover is when you move your cursor over there, then something happens. We've actually got that happening on this this menu there too. So that's the effect that you want. And so how is that achieved? So let's have a look at how that's achieved. Uh, if you look at the actual HTML, it's very, very little. The start of the bottom. What on earth is that? Okay, I hit that. I hit a negative. So the start of the body is here, and the end of the body is there, right? So it's very, very small amount of HTML. And so all that's happening in here is we've created a div drop down. All right. And then we've got a button. So button's kind of an important sort of element there. When you do a button, it has a certain effect. And that's what a button looks like, right? It comes up as kind of like a rectangle. All right. And so this one, and it's been styled. We got, if you look above, there's a lot more CSS than there is HTML, right? So a lot of CSS in there to um, to style the different parts. So what are the different parts? Well, we've got a class called drop down, which includes the button and every part of it. And then that's styled there. And all that's doing is that just putting it into a place on the page. Then we've got another class called drop button. I guess that's short for drop button. And that's styled here. Okay, and we see we got the color of the font is white. We got some padding so that the word is stuck in the middle there a bit. We've got the size done. We don't put a border on it, and we've got a background color, which I guess that is green. And so that's all we've done with that. And then we've got another one, which is called another class called drop down content, and that's been styled all there. And so the drop down content is actually going to is going to you see it's when we start. Remember that CSS is like a computer program. So we start from the top of the program up here and we work our way down. When it gets to this part of the program here, the drop down content is not going to be displayed. Okay, it won't be displayed, but it can be displayed when we hover over it. And so you'll see that we have that feature here. So we've got a bunch of CSS that relates to this hovering. So hovering is kind of we call that like a pseudo class. So even though we've styled when we start the program, there's no display. Here's the program started, no display. But when we hover, then we get this display happening. All right. And so that is represented by this stuff happening here, right? When we get the hover, we get background colors and we get our content is displayed in a block, etc. So that's happening there. Okay. Now, some other parts of it, we see that we've got these A tags that are part of this drop-down content. And so they've been styled also. They're all the same class. So that's the A tag. That's styled there. So that's for the link 123. And this other is for the what it's represented with. So the feature that you've got is you hover over the button and or you hover over the content. So here's hovering over the button. That's the last one, actually. So the last one, when I hover over the button, then I'm going to get that effect. When I hover over the content, this is the content, right? Hovering over the content, then I get that sort of change in color there. And you know, the idea is because these are A tags, with hyperlinks to them. The hyperlink doesn't go anywhere, but you could put in an address that when you clicked on the link, it would go somewhere. But it doesn't. But that's just because we got the simplest one you could find. This straight off of W3 Schools. Somebody was wanting to ask a question there, I think. So
Sure.
scaffolding is I've been sort of putting a structure around you to make it kind of easier for you to do the work. And this one, there's not much work to do. You've only got a little bit of code to put in there because you have the full HTML and CSS there, but you just have to add the hover feature and a menu. So this is a menu. That's a drop-down menu, and so that you can see how that works. So but you're going to have to do it yourself. Yeah, I'm not going to give you the code for that. So that's a little bit of exercise that you've got for yourselves. That'll be a bit fun, maybe a bit of head scratching. But yeah, this is a menu, bunch of A tags with I occasionally, actually not as often now as used to be, but I don't know if you heard my phone ringing, but it was a number from London, apparently. I never answer those. Okay, so did I get your name, Sala? Mm. All right. Yeah, I think so. No, I haven't. But all right, so I'm just going to pause for a second and maybe